Every eye in camp remained locked on Shad. Henry and George had been called in from their nighthawk duty, and the women were rousted from the enclosed medicine wagon, so everyone was present.
Strong Wolf, the leader of this bunch that has begun dogging you, is a young hot blood trying to earn a higher notch in the pecking order of his tribe. The elders, so far, have been keeping him in his place, all except for the handful of other hot bloods who jumped the reservation with him. What Strong Wolf now figures he's got, with this herd of ours passing through, is an opportunity to put on a big show that will gain him some of the stature he's so eager for. Claiming justification on account of one of ours wastefully killing that buff, he's planning to demand some cattle, as many as a dozen as payback to even things out. If he succeeds and is able to go strutting back to the reservation leading a string of prized longhorns he bargained away from us wide-eyes, he don't see how the old chiefs can dispute he has some mighty powerful medicine brewing in him and deserves a spot on the leadership council.
The central campfire had burned down to mostly just glowing coals, with a few weak flames licking up here and there, providing muted illumination that painted the circle of faces with splashes of pale orange. Shad had finally paused to unhurriedly relight his pipe.
What happens if we don't bargain? What if we're not willing to give up any cattle?
Wasn't something Strong Wolf spoke on. Leastways, not while I was listening. He seems pretty confident he can get you to deal.
Then they must all been chewing loco weed. No way we're going to hand over a dozen head to balance out one mangy buffalo.
That does seem awful lopsided.
Yeah, from a white man's way of looking at it, I reckon it does. For an Injun, though, the buffalo, which the white man has now slaughtered to near extinction, provided practically everything they needed to live. Far more than just meat. They made use of every last morsel of a buff. The hide for blankets and clothes and moccasins, the bones for everything from sewing needles to spoons and bowls and arrowheads, the gut for bowstrings and thread. They even ground up the horns to make potions.
His eyebrows lifted, and he seemed to gaze off at something far away.
A longhorn, on the other hand, they don't count for much, except some stringy meat and a hide that's only worth a few leather goods. In other words, Injuns don't hardly hold a cow and a buff as an even trade.